What's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler, and today is day number 12 of my 32 straight days previewing the 32 NFL teams ahead of the 2020 season. If you haven't watched the first 11 episodes, the link to the full playlist will be down below in the description. I hope y'all have enjoyed it because I've enjoyed making them thus far. In today's episode, we'll be looking at the Green Bay Packers, who in 2019, under first-year head coach Matt LaFleur, after the Mike McCarthy era, came to an abrupt and not so great end in 2018. The team had a great season, in my opinion. They went 13-3, losing in the NFC Championship game to the 49ers, where they got blown out. But 2020 will be a very interesting year for the Packers, as for a while now, the issue with this team has been they haven't been able to get help for their franchise quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Randall Cobb has regressed a little bit. He was let go by the team. Jordy Nelson eventually left the team for the Raiders and retired. The Jimmy Graham experiment did not work. Devontae Adams has emerged as a top wide receiver in the entire NFL. And this past season, the draft was considered to be one of the best wide receiver drafts in a long, long time. Guys like Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, all of which were obviously already gone by the time the Packers picked, but there were still guys like Brandon Ayuk, Justin Jefferson, Jalen Reagor. The list goes on and on and on of the top caliber wide receivers. The Packers drafted none of them, as with their first round pick, they took Jordan Love, quarterback out of Utah State. That's right, they took a quarterback in the first round, similar to what Aaron Rodgers did to Brett Favre or what the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers in 2005 when they drafted Rodgers in the first round with Brett Favre still on the roster. It looks like Love will be the successor to Rodgers in Green Bay. But what's interesting about that is Rodgers still has 4 more years on his contract and has expressed interest in playing deep into this decade of the 2020s. So who really knows what Jordan Love will be? It's most likely to be that Rodgers will be forced his way out, similar to that of Favre. In the running game, Aaron Jones, despite scoring 19 total touchdowns last season, will also have competition, as the Packers, with their second draft pick, drafted A.J. Dillon, the running back out of Boston College. And that's just another questionable thing, because you already had what looked to be a really solid running back in Jones. Why are they drafting a second running back in Dillon? I get it. The career expectancy for running backs has gone down and down and down, at least for their primes. So if you can get another quality running back, go for it. But I think Jones is just entering his prime, not exiting it. So Dillon, I guess he'll have to wait. And that spells trouble for Jamal Williams, who's probably on the way out the door, who was the backup to Jones last season. There are also some definite holes on this offensive line, as well as is no longer what it once was. So Rodgers, who has dealt with injuries in the past due to being sacked by opposing defensive players and being hit by opposing defensive players because his offensive line couldn't block for him, he's going to have even less protection, in my opinion, most likely. And as he's getting up there in age, I believe he's 36 now, it's just going to get worse and worse. The Packers' defense is also very concerning. They lost Blake Martinez and Kyle Frackrell in free agency. They still do have Preston Smith and Za'Darius Smith, Jair Alexander, and Kevin King. So those are some nice pieces there. But given how poorly they defended against the run last season, they are in need of a lot of help. That's what did them in that NFC Championship game against the 49ers. Raheem Mostert had arguably one of the best rushing performances in NFL playoff history. Looking at the full Packers schedule, which, by the way, will be down below with my win-loss projections for this team, there's going to be an opportunity for them to have success once again. And that is partially due to the fact that their division is so weak. I do have them splitting matchups with the Bears and the Vikings. So that's 2-2 right there, and then sweeping the Lions. But even then, they could sweep the Bears, is very likely, and they could sweep the Vikings. It's very possible. They open up the season, though, at Minnesota against the Vikings. That game I'm very intrigued by, given just just see how this Packers defense shows up week one. The Vikings have one of the top running backs in Dalvin Cook. Adam Thielen is a top wide receiver. Kirk Cousins performed really well last season. Let's see how these two offenses go at it and how the Packers defense performs. Week 2, they play the Lions at home. Week 3, big test at New Orleans against the Saints. The Saints obviously have one of the top passing offenses of all of football, and they will have to the Packers defense, will have the opportunity to slow down a highly octane offense, at least on paper. And this will be a nice litmus test to see, are the Packers real Super Bowl contenders? Week 4, they take on Atlanta, another high-caliber offense on paper. And then they have their bye week, week 5. So they only play 4 games before their bye week, which is slightly concerning for me, as I feel like when you play long stretches of games, in any sport, the risk for injury goes up with the less rest you have. And in football, it is no different, playing week after week after week. I would not be surprised if the Packers have suffered from the injury bug in 2020. Week 6, they come out of their bye. They go to Tampa Bay, so another very solid offense. Week 7, they take on Houston. I mean, although the offense doesn't look, they have their question marks already, the Texans still have a top quarterback in Deshaun Watson, so that's another test there. Week 8, they take on Minnesota again. Week 9, at San Francisco to take on the 49ers. And once again, this is a rematch of last season. 2 matchups the Packers got utterly defeated in. They were blown out badly in both matchups, one could say. And we'll see once again, can the 49ers do that to the Packers and really make them question in the front office where their direction is as a franchise? Week 10, they take on the Jaguars at home. Week 11 at Indianapolis. Week 12 versus Chicago. So a nice 3-week stretch there where they can win some games. Week 13 versus Philadelphia, another division winner from last season. I actually do think that this could be a potential loss for the Packers, although I don't have them losing. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles were to pull out a win here. Week 14, they go on the road to Detroit. Week 15 versus Carolina. Week 16 versus Tennessee. That game, although I have the Packers winning, once again, Derrick Henry, if he's healthy, could run all over this team. And then finally, Week 17 at the Bears. That game could be crucial for them. I do have the Packers going 12-4, winning the NFC North once again, 3rd in the entire NFC. But there's opportunities there where they could lose some games. The only games I have them losing, I have them losing to the Bears once. I have them losing to Minnesota. I have them losing to New Orleans. And I have them losing to San Francisco. But I could see them losing to the Falcons. I could see them losing to Tampa Bay. I could see them losing to Philadelphia. So there's a lot of different ways this season can go for the Packers. I think ultimately what this is going to do, however, is really see what this future is. If Aaron Rodgers balls out, has a resurgence, if you will, maybe the Packers make it to the NFC Championship or even a Super Bowl once again, and Rodgers plays phenomenally, like I said, I could see the Jordan Love draft pick being highly questioned and the Packers front office being questioned. Why did they take this guy when they still have a top-flight quarterback? Because I still think that Aaron Rodgers is a top-flight quarterback. Of the five games that I'm most looking forward to, they're all very similar. Week 3, Packers at the Saints. Week 4, Falcons at the Packers. Week 6, Packers at the Buccaneers. Week 9, Packers at the 49ers. And Week 16, Titans at the Packers. I mentioned them all before. They all have really solid offenses. 49ers and Titans more so for rushing the ball. Saints, Falcons, and Buccaneers more so for throwing the football. And all of these will test the Packers, and there'll be nice litmus tests to see where they stack up. Because those games can come down to one possession, and if the defense doesn't show up for Green Bay, it's going to be more weight on Rodgers' shoulders. And I don't know, given that he's 36 now, if he can handle it week in and week out. And I'm not extremely confident. I know I said I have the Packers at 12-4, but that is a shaky 12-4 for me. That's more so thinking, all right, the offense worked so well last year under LaFleur, but you got Rodgers getting up there the age. You got the quarterback, I wouldn't say competition, but that little notion in the back of his head that Jordan Love is there and will get any opportunity he wants if Rodgers shows any signs of slippage. And plus, he doesn't really have any major options to throw to outside of Devontae Adams. But let me know what y'all think down below in the description. Do the Packers make it back to the NFC Championship? Do they even make it? Do they even win the division this year? Because the Vikings look to be on the up and up. That's the other thing too for the Packers. Their division is not the toughest by any stretch. The Vikings pose a legitimate threat to the Packers in the winning division, but the Lions certainly don't, and the Bears don't. It's one of those things where, like, the one game I have the Bears winning, it's more so probably the Packers are resting their players and the Bears just pull one out. But yeah, let me know what y'all think down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, episode 13 tomorrow will be the Houston Texans, which I have a lot of questions about. So, thank y'all so much for watching once again, and we'll see you next time.